you this. Stephanie White has found herself in Charlottesville. And I didn't even trip off this earlier today. But shout out to Ben Daniel, man, because it had dawned on me, which I think they lying, that technically, based off what they're saying, Caitlin Clark is not cleared to play 5-on-5.
Stephanie White just got caught slipping again, you guys, and this time, even doctors are calling her out on camera. That whole minor injury story about Caitlin Clark? Yeah, that completely fell apart. Fans are absolutely fuming about it. It honestly feels like full-blown damage control right now. The big question is, how long did Stephanie think she could actually keep this lie going before all the receipts started showing up? So, let's talk about it. Stephanie White and the Indiana Fever really thought they could be doctors and PR managers at the same time. Not a good move.
In July, right? You know, because, matter of fact, guys, there's a doctor that shared some information. You know what? Give me a quick second. Let me pull up this clip. Now, y'all know me, man. I got to come with the facts. And the fact of the matter is, Stephanie White is looking real spooky. Now, this was back in July. Now, this is just one doctor. Oh, we got two. Let's listen to this. Let's just have a rewind back.
Another groin strain. This is the other side. As we talked about with the first one on the left side coming back after the quad, day-to-day is not accurate for even a minor groin strain. It was closer to 2 weeks before she returned, played well, and now the other side, the right side. It is unclear what imaging shows, but once again, the new groin strain is not day-to-day. She's already missing the All-Star game and the three-point contest. The question is how much more? We won't know until we know about the imaging details, which were not revealed, but in any case, it's not.
Remember that day-to-day turning into week-to-week talk? It all started back in July when they first called Caitlin Clark's injury a groin strain. You know, they said it was just a day-to-day thing, except now doctors are chiming in saying, no, that's absolutely not how groin injuries work. A real sports doctor even came out and laid out the timeline for everyone. He said straight up, a groin strain is never day-to-day. It's week-to-week at the very best. So, when the Fever told us Caitlin was just resting for a few days, they were already lying through their teeth. And get this wasn't even her first injury. The doctor went through the whole pattern. May 26th, a left quad strain. July 5th, a left groin strain. Then July 16th, a right groin strain. That's 3 injuries in less than 2 months. But Stephanie White kept calling them all minor. Minor, girl? At that point, her legs were practically screaming for a vacation.
She basically says Caitlin Clark is not cleared. Now, I did the first video. Now, this is from another doctor back in July breaking down the time frame of Caitlin Clark injury. Listen to this. This was on July the 16th. Now, this is when Caitlin Clark injuries happened, right? It says Caitlin Clark injury history. Left quad strain, May the 26th. Left a groin strain, July 5th. Right groin strain, July 16th. He said initially he thought the strain she suffered last night was a re-injury, but realized that it wasn't. Obviously, we know that. Now, this was all the reports that was released by the Indiana Fever front office. Out status. This was all within.
The doctor even mentioned that it was closer to a month-long recovery, not just a few days. So, while all of us fans were waiting for Caitlin to finally come back, Stephanie was out here saying things like, oh, she's tough. She heals fast. Please, that's just not how medicine works. Period. But here's where it gets interesting. Now the doctors are speaking up online, saying they were never contacted by the Fever to review anything at all. Basically, the team was just making up its own recovery timeline. It was all PR over player health, you know? Great job, coach. And listen, fans aren't stupid. They've been tracking this whole mess for months. One fan literally said, no one believes a single word coming out of Stephanie White's mouth. Another called her the biggest liar in the league, and honestly, I can't even argue with that.
It looked like fans is catching on too. One fan said, no one believes a single word. The biggest liar in the women's basketball landscape, a.k.a. Stephanie White had to say, I'm not saying this. They said this 20 hours
Oh, because if you go back and actually watch those interviews, and believe me, I did, Stephanie contradicted herself like 5 different times in just 2 months. First, it was a minor strain. Then it was day-to-day. Then, she'll be fine next week. And suddenly we're hearing, she's not cleared for 5-on-5 yet. What? So she can't even scrimmage, but she can still travel with a team and sit courtside? Make that make sense, because it doesn't. And here's the crazy part. Even back then, Caitlin was refusing to see the Fever's medical staff. She was literally getting checked by her own doctors. That should have been a giant red flag for everyone right there. If your star player doesn't trust the team's doctors, then something is definitely wrong. But instead of being honest about what was really happening, Stephanie just kept throwing out the same robotic lines. We're taking it one day at a time. She's in good spirits. We'll know more after the imaging. Girl, we heard that exact speech like 12 times already.
What, Stephanie White? This is you right here. Hold up. Wait a minute. Let me get out of this full screen here. This is when? May the 26th. This was Stephanie White. Listen.
So, Steph, do you even know when Caitlin's injury actually happened?
I don't know when it happened. I know afterwards, we got a message that she had something going on.
Let's be real here. They actually wanted Caitlin off the court so they could run their system without her. Think about it. The moment she touches the ball, the whole offense completely shifts around her, and Stephanie White just hated that. So, they played the long game. They stretched out the injury, kept saying she was almost back, and tried to push their weird scheme that clearly wasn't working. Now the truth is finally out. Doctors have flat out said she should have been back weeks earlier. That means Stephanie White and the front office basically lied to the media and all the fans for months. It's like they forgot the internet even exists. Fans instantly pulled up old press conferences where Stephanie called Caitlin's injuries minor setbacks and swore she'd probably be ready for next week. Well, next week somehow turned into 6 weeks, and by then the whole season was falling apart. You absolutely can't call that a setback. That's a full-blown cover-up. And get this, she's done this every single year. This isn't new behavior. It's the 3rd season in a row with these mystery injuries, secret scans, and that classic "we'll see tomorrow" nonsense. Same excuse, different year. So when people talk about instant regret, they mean it, because now every single doctor and reporter is digging up the receipts. Stephanie can't wiggle out of this one. There's even video from May where she straight up said she didn't know when Caitlin got hurt, just that something was going on with her leg. You're the head coach. How do you not know when your star player got injured? Then, just a month later, she's on camera saying she knows exactly what happened and that Caitlin is a quick healer. Which one is it, Steph? You can't be clueless one week and then Dr. White the next. That's exactly why fans are roasting her online right now. They see right through it. They're saying she was protecting her job, not her player, because if Caitlin came back and the Fever still lost, the blame would definitely be on the coach. So, keeping her injured was just a safe excuse. And now, after all these cover-ups and contradictions, guess what? Doctors are actually saying that Caitlin Clark's injury was totally healed weeks ago. She was cleared for 5-on-5 even earlier than they claimed. So, why was she still on the sideline? You already know the answer. Stephanie was just buying time. She kept talking about mental recovery and slow progression. But nah, she just didn't want Caitlin messing up her playbook, and now it's all blowing up in her face. Doctors are exposing the real timeline, fans are exposing the lie, and reporters are connecting all the dots. It's truly not a good look. At this point, the Indiana Fever should honestly just hold a press conference and say, yeah, we messed up. Because every day they pretend nothing's wrong. They just look worse and worse. The funniest part is they still keep calling it a learning experience. Bro, this isn't a science project. This is a professional league. You can't just experiment with your star player's entire career. Now Stephanie's getting dragged on every single platform. Fans are editing clips of her saying day-to-day, over and over again, with clown music in the background. Someone even made a meme that said Stephanie White's medical degree was earned on Google Images. It's cold, but it's accurate. You almost have to laugh because it's so messy. But here's the real serious issue. When you lie about injuries, you're not just fooling the fans. You're risking that player's entire future. Caitlin Clark's body is her career, and every single bad call from a coach or trainer can cost her millions down the line. So, if you know she's hurt, let her heal, period. Don't pretend it's just tightness so you can look like a hero when she finally comes back. That's not coaching. That's PR nonsense. And let's not forget the timing of all this. It all started right when the Fever were trying to make the playoffs. Then boom, Caitlin's hurt, the team loses momentum, and the season collapses. Instead of owning it, Stephanie starts hiding behind those medical excuses. Classic move. It's like she thought fans would just forget everything. But the WNBA community remembers everything. They've got timestamps, screenshots, and every doctor's tweet bookmarked. So when new info dropped this week saying Caitlin was never in any real danger, fans absolutely lost it. Now, every interview Stephanie does gets bombarded with comments like, "Tell the truth. You lied about Clark." She can't even post a pumpkin emoji without someone replying, "Still lying." That's what happens when you completely break trust. Once people see you as dishonest, it's over, and this won't be going away anytime soon. Now, even other players and analysts are speaking up, saying this wasn't the first time a coach messed with an injury timeline for PR. So, Stephanie is about to become the poster child for bad management. Instant regret doesn't even begin to cover it. This is career-ending kind of regret. You can already see the Fever trying to scrub their mess, deleting old posts, editing quotes, acting like none of this ever happened. But come on, the internet never forgets. Caitlin Clark is fine now. Doctors say she's healthy and ready to play. But this whole saga proved one thing. Some coaches care way more about optics than honesty, and Stephanie White just found that out the hard way. The fallout from this entire mess has been absolutely wild. You'd think after getting exposed by actual doctors, Stephanie White would just come out, own it, and move on, but no. Instead, she's doubling down like nothing happened, smiling in pressers, dropping those same "one day at a time" lines like a broken record. It's almost impressive, honestly, the confidence it takes to act this delusional on camera. And now fans are just letting her have it. The Fever's comment section looks like a total war zone. Every post, no matter what it's about, even "congrats to our interns" or "happy birthday Aaliyah," has 50 people typing "stop lying about Caitlin" underneath. That's what happens when you insult people's intelligence. You can't call fans family one day and then feed them made-up injury updates the next. People actually care. They watch every game, they follow every press conference, and when you lie to them, they absolutely notice. The best part? The doctors who broke this story aren't backing down either. They've been doing interviews explaining exactly why the Fever's version of events made no medical sense. One even said, "It's highly unlikely a professional athlete with multiple groin strains could return to full movement in under 2 weeks." Translation: Stephanie White, you are full of it. And the timing of everything makes her look even worse. Remember when she said Caitlin was almost ready right before that road trip? Yeah, turns out that was the same week the team quietly filed for extra medical evaluations, which basically means they knew she wasn't even close to ready. So not only did they lie, they actually planned around the lie. That's next-level manipulation. Even players from other teams are low-key calling it out without saying her name. One player tweeted, "Protect your body. They'll smile in your face and ruin your career behind your back." Everybody knew exactly what that was about. And it's not just players. The media is finally waking up too. Reporters who used to back Stephanie are now starting to turn. One article headline literally said, asterisk, Fever coaching staff faces credibility crisis. Asterisk, yeah, credibility crisis. That's journalist code for "we caught you lying." But let's go back to the core of this. Why even lie in the first place? Because the team was desperate. The Fever season was hanging by a thread, and instead of being transparent, they tried to fake optimism. You know, the classic "she's fine, just resting" routine. The problem is, when you keep saying that for 3 months, people eventually start connecting the dots. Fans realized something wasn't right. Caitlin's body language said it all. She wasn't injured anymore. She was frustrated. She wanted to play, and they were holding her back. And if that's true, that's not just bad leadership. That's straight-up sabotage. There's even a clip floating around from a post-game presser where Stephanie said, "We're being cautious with Caitlyn." Meanwhile, she'd already been cleared by her personal doctors to start scrimmaging. You can literally see the assistant coach's face twitch when she says it. Like, even he didn't believe what was coming out of her mouth. Now that the receipts are out, everything about her interviews just looks fake. The smiles, the vague medical talk, the "she's feeling good" lines. All of it just screams damage control in real time. And fans are brutal, man. One person tweeted, "Stephanie White treating Caitlin Clark's recovery like a Netflix cliffhanger." Another wrote, "Can someone tell the Fever this isn't the CIA? We can handle the truth." That's the internet for you. They turn everything into a joke, but there's always truth behind the punchlines. At this point, Stephanie White's best move might be to just lay low for a while, because every time she opens her mouth, it gets worse. The internet's calling it the Caitlyn cover-up. The memes are flying, and while it's hilarious to watch unfold, it's also genuinely